Just another day in the life of a carnivore. Hey guys, welcome to Ferrigno Freedom Channel. I'm Dante Ferrigno and I've been on a diet, a carnivore diet known as the Lion Diet now for over 4.5 years, and it has just changed my health in ways I never thought would be possible. And I just wanted to come back and share again with you today how I'm gonna get food ready for me and my wife, who is also on a carnivore diet now. Today I'm gonna be making picanha. This is also known as the sirloin cap. This has been on sale at, not really on sale, but it's at a good price at Sam's Club lately at $8.48 a pound. So compared to most other steaks out there, it's quite affordable. It's made it easier for me to stick with my way of eating and also be able to make some really good meat. I made a video last week cooking it on the infrared grill. And this week I wanted to show you, because I tried making it in 2 different air fryers this week. I tried it in the Dreo ChefmMaker and I tried it in the Typhur Dome. And I just thought it would be interesting to show how important it is to have an air fryer that can take the time that the ChefmMaker does with the sous vide mode, and you'll see the difference. Again, I'm not here trying to promote a product of any particular kind. I'm just talking about ways to make it easier for you to eat your food. Although the products that I do use, I do have links for them in the description and on my website. So if you're interested in any of these things, absolutely take a look at them. But I don't want to necessarily put one down, but I think the difference will be noticeable. And there's probably a workaround for it on the Typhur Dome that would make it better. I just haven't figured out what it is yet. You want to cut it with the grain so that when you're eating your meat, it pulls apart easily. So it looks like our grain is going this way here, so I'm going to try to cut the steaks as thick as I can without being too thick. I want a little thicker than that, actually. Add some kosher salt. All right, so each steak is nicely salted and ready to go. Now normally I'd like to cook them, like when I cook on a grill, I like to cook on the kebab steel, whatever you call that, a skewer. And they won't fit in the Dreo ChefmMaker. Now, skewered pieces will fit in the Typhur Dome. So one problem you can see is the size of the air fryer doesn't leave a lot of room for big pieces, but I can put a couple of large ones in there, I think, get away with it. Now the key to this process is going to be the temperature probe. You always want to make sure you clean those little leads on the temperature probe when you push it in, especially when you've got meat on your fingers like I do, because you don't want it touching the probes with any moisture on it. You want to make sure it's dry. You stick the thermometer in so that it doesn't go through the fat area. You want it to go into the meat as much as you can, so that it's measuring only the meat temperature. I'm trying to keep it in the center of the meat as much as possible. It's difficult on these smaller pieces like this. It doesn't have to go in very far. Now I'm making sure I got water in there. I'm gonna set it for chef mode, beef, and picanha or sirloin are not listed here, so I've been using New York strip steak setting. And medium rare is what we're gonna choose. Sous vide flavor. All right, I am using a temperature probe and a skewer for the one going into the Typhur, so we can make sure we cook it to the right temperature. Now when cooking steak in the Typhur, you want to take out the bottom tray because it does cook from the bottom as well. And there is a preheating process that it goes through, so let's let it go through that preheat process first. We'll set it for steak. And I'm going to set it for 20 minutes, although it shouldn't take that long. And then we're going to hit start. and now it's got the 8-minute preheating process. So I got a notification a moment ago from my Meter Plus saying that there was 5 minutes remaining, and there's still 14 minutes on the timer, so only 6 minutes have gone by. So that basically means it's estimating the cook time to be about 9 minutes. We'll see how it comes out. But I think that's where the problem is. It's just too fast to get the crust that you want on the steak and the inside to cook to be the right temperature. I was always a big fan of cooking at high temperatures early on, but ever since the ChefmMaker showed me the sous vide mode, it's been hard to go back to anything else because it's just so accurate compared to every other thing I've used. It's not always perfect. Sometimes I don't put the temperature probe in right. Sometimes I put it through the fat lines on the meat, which causes it to get hot faster and it gives a false reading to the machine. So there are things that can cause that, but generally, every time I put a piece of meat in there, it comes out perfect. But let's see what it does as far as being compared to the meat I made on the grill the other day, because that was fantastic. I mean, the meat just pulled apart. It was so soft and tender. We'll see how this comes out. So now I just got the notification to remove from heat, so it did take right at 11 minutes. Let's take a look at it as it comes out. So you can see it's not quite as dark as you might like, especially compared to the grill that we did the other day. And the fat isn't quite as crispy on the edges as I would like to see. Let's compare it to how it comes out of the ChefmMaker when it's done, which by the way still has 27 minutes left on the timer. All right, it's now been a solid 5 minutes that this picanha has rested. We'll go ahead and remove the temperature probe now. And you can leave it on the skewer if you want. All right, first of all, it's cooked right temperature. I mean, it's medium rare. It's hard to tell on that piece so much because that's an end piece. Let me cut to the center of this thing. I'll take the skewer out. There you go. Rare on the inside. But let's see how it is on the outside. Not bad. It's a little tougher than it was coming off of the grill. And that was an exterior piece and it wasn't nearly as crispy as I would like it to be. But it wasn't bad. It wasn't like, oh, I wouldn't eat this. It was fantastic. I loved eating it. It's just when you find the way, you know. And I think I'm going to do my wife the favor of eating this piece. I'm mostly done eating the first steak and the other one is getting close to time. Yes, definitely not as tender as the grill. Definitely. Last bite. You can see here, even after 6 minutes in the pre-sear mode, the internal temperature, hasn't risen all that much. As a matter of fact, it's a little lower than it was. So it's still searing the exterior without overcooking the interior. Hey folks, real quick, I wanted to come talk to you about one of the keys to my carnivore diet that has made it such a success for me, and that's good clean salt. And today I'm talking about Redmond Real Salt, and it is just the best tasting salt I've ever had. I have their smoked salts. This is one of my favorites, the cherry smoked salt. I even use their earth powder, which is great for keeping your teeth clean. If you're interested in getting some Redmond salt, go to my link in the description or just go to redmond.life and use my discount code Dante and you'll save 15% on your order. Now back to the video. You can see now it's in the browning phase. All right, let's see what our result looks like. You can see the fat is a whole lot more crispy on the outside. You've got a darker color here, not so much of a gray, more of a brown. I love the way they look when they come out of the ChefmMaker. And another nice thing about sous vide mode is that it says you don't need to wait for the rest period. So I'm just going to make some room here and bring one of these out onto the plate and take a look. Now that's a nice medium rare. Well, let's see how the crispiness is. Well, it doesn't have that crispiness that you get on the grill, but it is far softer than the meat that came out of the other air fryer. So it did cook it a lot better as far as getting it tender. The grill also did a better job of making the fat more crispy than what you get coming out of the air fryer because it's such a thick piece, but it's still delicious. So that's it. I find that this is the fastest, easiest overall way to cook your steak. Even picanha. It isn't the best result compared to the grill, but it just makes it, the cleanup and preparation is next to nothing compared to the grill, even though the grill is extremely fast. As a matter of fact, sometimes the grill is just too fast for me. I have to have everything ready up front. That way I can go step by step through the process quickly, because when you miss a step because you got to go get something, or your battery's not charged in your thermometer, those setbacks can cause a problem on a hot grill that's ready for you to cook on. Simplicity that comes with the air fryer just makes being a carnivore all that much easier. And that's one of the reasons why it's still a staple of my daily eating. And specifically, I like the Dreo ChefmMaker because it has that sous vide mode. It does take longer, but to me it's worth the wait. You be the judge though. Whichever one you like the best, I'd love to hear your comments in the description. I know a lot of you cook picanha on the grill, on charcoal, on wood coals, and all different ways. Pellets, there's just so many choices out there. Let me know what your favorite is, and I'll see you guys next time.
If we pay extra, could we maybe get some grease or fat?
When I'm editing, sometimes it's really hard to have time to get up and make something to eat. That's why I love carnivore crisps. I keep a bag handy just in case I get a little hungry so that I don't have to be distracted from my work. I can stop for a moment, have some delicious food that is perfectly on my way of eating, that has been so good for my body and so good for my mind. Beef brisket is my favorite by far of all the carnivore crisps. Get yours at carnivorecrisps.com and use my coupon code Dante, D-A-N-T-E, to save 10% on your order. I hope you love them as much as I do.